Good morning, Vriskanam. Hey, this is not a test. This is Homestuck. It's time to rocket from the Sweet Bro to the Hella Jeff. Is it me, or does that sound like an Elvis Presley movie? Hella Jeff, hey dude, I warned you about those stairs. Hey, it's a little too early for being that loud. Hey, too late. It's 0600. What's the O stand for? Oh my God, it's early. Speaking of early, how about that? Austin and Luna, huh? Thank you for that silky smooth sound. Make me sound like Peggy Lee. Freddie and the Dreamers. Wrong speed. We've got it on the wrong speed. For those of you recovering from a hangover, that's going to sound just right. Let's put it right back down. Let's try a little faster. See if it picks up a bit. Oh, this pot's going, hey, I like the music. I like the music. What do you think?
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to episode 20. We had to do something special for episode 20 of our Homestuck journey. We are traveling to another dimension, a dimension of sight and sound and of hussy. A world where nothing is as it seems. Now, let's get the introductions out of the way very quickly. For those of you just tuning in, welcome to episode 20. I am the voice of 91 Reasons. I am Jeff Tucker. I am joined, as always, by our Homestuck experts, and they are...
Austin. Luna.
And... you're not going to hear much of me for this show, because the minute I turn it over to these two whack jobs, they're going to go a mile a minute on the feels and the clay and the update, and anything else that we had that we were going to talk about this week was derailed when that new update arose, right?
Yes.
So without further ado, we welcome you to episode 20, the clay update. Go for it.
We have been waiting months for this update, Caliban's masterpiece, and if you have not read it yet, please do so, as this episode is going to be full of spoilers. Full-on spoilers. We finally click it, right? It's Caliban's bad art style as it shows an alternate version of Calliope's dream bubble. It almost reminds me of something that would be shown in Blade Eye Kindwell's series, sort of like an inverted Calliope thing. Then the music starts, right? It's a remix of the main theme, but it's all Caliban sounding, so it's all goofy. And then it zooms into the stage, and everything cuts to black, and suddenly the music gets really, really scary as we zoom in on a stage. And as the stage was being zoomed in, I was terrified, because the entire screen is blank, and there's a tiny stage coming to the screen. But the problem is that the stage doesn't look right. Me and Luke were freaking out, because, like, is it drawn well? Is it 3D animated? Different.
It looked different. We thought it was animated by the Hive Swap team, and that's why it looked that way.
That's what I figured his masterpiece would always be.
But it just looked weird. So the next page, we finally get to see that this is a cardboard stage Hussey has built. And
the entire time it's building up, the sinister music is playing, it's zooming on the stage. I turned to Austin, I'm like, any second now, Michael Bowman's gonna pop up and say, "It's the Troll Show!" And because, as a reference to the End of Act 5 preview, which is something you should watch if you haven't already. It's on Bowman's channel. That's RADIO. No, it's Bowman is God.
And that was a Cascade sneak preview that tricks us all with a stop motion like sort of all the trolls.
But yeah, as it was zooming in on the stage, like, this is gonna be the Troll Show. Bowman says, this is a little different for Homestuck. It's going to have voice acting. It's going to be live action. Here we go. And then it's just him playing with puppets.
The whole joke is that all this hype up for a Homestuck End of Act 5 flash with voice acting and revealing who Lord Inglis is was just a puppet so he had made in 5 minutes.
Then the flash ends on the sinister stage. The curtains are open. And turn to the next page, and Caliban says, "And my masterpiece is..." Click on it. It's the Troll Show!
It's basically what happened. We saw a stop-motion Clay Caliban walk out on stage. It was beautiful. And it really is that Bowman sort, because it's just Caliban goofing around. It begins with that, but it gets much more serious. And yes, it features voice acting.
Yep.
For the first time, we have a character with a canon voice.
It's Toby.
Yeah, voicing Caliban. Now, reminder that when Act 6 began, the only voice in Homestuck we had was a honk by Lord Inglis.
There was a neigh in the secret Lalana flashes.
Of Rose saying neigh.
Yeah.
That's it.
I want to say Bowman's girlfriend. I'd have to double check that.
So,
it might be Powell's. I forgot her name.
We had an Easter egg that if you watched all the way through, you got Rose saying neigh, and then we got Lord Inglis saying honk real big. And now here we are, all these pages later, we now have Caliban talking to us.
Yep. He is growling and making Clay angry stop-motion noises, little pew-pew-pews and sound effects, and it is glorious. Mm-hmm. He sounds like Beavis and Butthead. That's the only way to put it.
There's all over the internet on Tumblr people taking Beavis screenshots and photoshopping into Caliborn.
And you know, Caliborn's voice, if you've read Caliborn segments, is exactly how you imagine it. It's this really angry, gravelly Beavis voice. It's kind of terrifying. Mm-hmm. But within this, he talks about how he went into his land, which is the land of colors and mayhem, which is a Homestuck album that was released many years ago. This was an album in which one of the covers was the same stop-motion figures. So, Hussey obviously took heavy influence from this album. Mm-hmm. Because his Lands of Colors and Mayhem, it even had the clay figures as one of the album covers.
Colors and Mayhem was a fan album.
Yeah.
It was put together by What Pumpkin, but they held a sort of a contest. They took the best songs and the best track art and put it all into two albums, one for trolls, one for kids.
And then you could submit your art and the best one would get in.
Every character got one fan song and one fan music picture.
Hussey did this because, like he said, he still loves to use stuff from the fans. So the Clay Mason is both a nod to the Colors and Mayhem album cover and the Bowman sort. Yeah. And then the Land of Colors and Mayhem itself is a nod to the contributors to the album. Yeah. That he named it after it. Mm-hmm. But Caliborn talks, okay, might be where things go to a meta scale we cannot explain. From what I got from the update, Caliborn says that he saw a computer that had the West of Homestuck on it, and he skipped ahead to the West of Homestuck and found out that the villain wins, and that it's not a happy ending.
Yeah.
And he basically says the ending was so awesome he can't wait for it to be posted on MSPA, so he's going to reenact it all in clay. So here's the end of Homestuck with Caliborn motors, everyone. And within the form of clay, we get to see all our favorite characters beaten to a bloody pulp by Caliborn as he makes pew-pew-pew sound effects.
Well, of course, it's clay smacking against hardened clay.
Yes. Yes, it is. And
so
then
emotional.
He finally reveals his plan is with the juju. And what he's going to do with it. Mm-hmm. He takes it out, right? It's the same juju that John sticks his hand into that we don't know. Now, my theory was that it was a plot hole in the comic, but it seems to be something much more.
Well, it is transparent. So yeah. It is a literal hole in the comic.
It's a hole in the comic.
It's intangible.
But Caliborn picks it up, and he sucks the 4 kids into it. He says they are banished forever inside of it.
4 beta kids.
And the 4 beta kids' powers are fueling this, constantly being harnessed to fuel it.
Most of the theories right now is John's zapping powers is the 4 kids' powers combined.
And Caliborn said he sent it back in time when no one would ever find it. Mm-hmm. So for all of eternity, the kids have been powering this device they've been stuck in, which is Caliborn's ultimate plan. The irony is that John's plan was to get to this juju to stick his hand in and outdo Caliborn with his retconning. Yeah. But in reality, he just led to him and all his friends being trapped in
Remember, they found the juju by leading Lord English around, tricking Lord English into making a big circle around the multiverse to where it was hidden.
But he was leading them to it.
Lord English was leading them to there. Because Lord English is like, well, you know, I didn't get my powers until John zapped in, so I have to make sure John gets those zapping powers, or else I'll never get mine.
Yeah. And if John gets those zapping powers, then he can zap all the kids to him, he can take the device, and trap John and his friends forever in it.
When they get the juju, they think they found the one weapon that can destroy Lord English, but really they're about to create him.
And the one thing that can stop them forever.
Yeah.
Because now the kids are trapped in the juju. Mm-hmm. And I think it's very, very important that Lord English's ultimate master plan to get rid of the 4 main characters of the comic is to stick them in this house for all of eternity. They're Homestuck.
Yeah.
That's the meaning of the title.
Actually trapped in a house-shaped object for all of eternity.
The title's a pun, everyone. We waited.
It's literal.
It's literal. It's not a pun.
It's not a pun. It's extremely literal. It's the other side of the scale.
I never understood what Homestuck referred to. I had all these crazy theories that the Ultimate World is a webcomic and the characters feel trapped in it and they're Homestuck in a way. But I couldn't relate it. Like, how are these kids going to be stuck in some sort of home? Because the title still has to make sense by the end of the comic. Yeah. Act 1, yeah, he was stuck in his house trying to get around, but by the end it still has to make sense, right? They gotta be stuck in some sort of home. Caliborn even said in the beginning of Act 6 that the male Homo sapien leaves his house in the beginning of the act, thus destroying the entire title.
When you look at Hussey's older works, Jailbreak, he gets out of jail halfway through, and it's not about a jailbreak anymore.
Yeah, but I finally understand what the title means. I finally get it. And I understand that Caliborn, what he's reenacting might not actually be what happens because he hasn't done it yet.
Yeah.
This is before
But
the end of the comic.
there's no other explanation on how the things have already happened.
Yeah.
It has to go this way, otherwise we've already seen it goes this way.
The title has to live up to itself.
Yeah.
The kid's got to go in the house somehow. What do you have to say on this?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, why?
All I know is that
right?
all I know is you guys have been in your room for the last 2 nights, screaming and yelling and guffawing over every little detail that gets revealed.
Yes.
So I have no idea what you're talking about, but it certainly seems very exciting.
It's a lot more exciting than the Silodex mishaps you're awaiting.
I'm sure.
You gotta watch Act 2. It's another act of Slidex mishaps.
Yeah, well, it's on the schedule for this month. Yes.
You get to learn about the hash map modus in Act 2.
That sounds fantastic.
But, anyways, the other big reveal in Caliborn's masterpiece is the creation of Lord English, pretty much.
And everything we need to know about him.
Yes. It occurs in the vicinity of horses, how ironic. That, Dirk tries to take Caliborn's soul, to destroy it. But he can't because Caliborn's soul is too powerful. So all he can do is move it from Caliborn's body to Little Cal's body. So Little Cal is actually infused with the Caliborn's soul. But it goes wrong.
Yeah.
And he accidentally also sucks in Aarqueus and half of Gamzee.
So, Equius Brostrider as a
Equius
robot.
Brostrider as a robot at 13 years old, Caliborn, and half of Gamzee Makara are all inside of Little Cal.
And then I finally was like, is that Lord Inglis? I don't understand quite. So that gets alchemized with the cue ball to create Dark Scratch, which becomes Lord Inglis.
Yes.
But I finally understand what Lord Inglis is, because all this time I've been wondering, the Skull Guy can't be Lord Inglis, because he's no different than the Jack Noir that looks like Lord Inglis. What is Lord Inglis? Is there some guy moving this around? I don't understand. He finally says that Lord Inglis does not have a physical form. There is no guy out there who is Lord Inglis. Caliborn does not exist as a physical form. He is a nightmare.
He's an idea.
He is an idea. He is the worst nightmare that somebody can have. A horrible idea of the mind. An idea that is so evil that when somebody has nightmares about it, Dave mentions in Act 2 that he has nightmares where Little Cal becomes 50 feet tall and terrorizes him. That it creates a physical form of Little Cal, which gets alchemized.
Now, this kind of Freddy Krueger ability he has is, it'd be okay if it was just in dreams, but Homestuck rules say there's a few extra steps.
Yeah.
First of all, the Void Ring gets taken in when Caliborn's soul is captured, we think, which gives it the ability to appear anywhere. He's literally waiting in the shadows.
He is a nightmare dream that can jump at anyone at any moment.
We have Gamzee in there, who has the ability to chuckle voodoo, which is literally, he can implant nightmares into people. So, you don't just have to have nightmares about Little Cal. He can make you have nightmares about Little Cal.
He can take control and terrorize you.
And the third thing is that Suburb players have a dream self.
Yeah.
Where when they dream, it's a real person out there. So if they dream of Little Cal becomes a real person out there. So Lord English has the ability to not exist, but then to make you have a nightmare about him, and then he exists.
He can, like, terrorize 10 kids at once in those nightmares.
Yeah.
The kids start thinking about Lord Inglis, 10 more Lord Inglis, physical Lord Inglises are created next to them. And thus, he is somewhat like this weird disease that goes through dreams, that can go through all of reality. See, the thing is...
That's how he can be present in every timeline at once.
It was set up that Calidwelts can destroy the big Skull Lord Inglis guy. But even if the Skull Lord Inglis is somehow destroyed, Caliborn can just jump to another body.
He can't kill an idea. He'll just keep multiplying. And time loops.
Yeah, there's no Lord Inglis. He's an idea.
But the prophecy, we don't know where it comes from, probably Yaldabaoth, says that the juju he used to get his powers is what also will destroy him. The problem is Lord English has found a loophole, which is that he used the juju retcon powers to create himself. This is a retcon loop. So, he can't be killed by retcons.
He's made himself undefeatable.
So, he's undefeatable canon-wise, and he's undefeatable retcon-wise. There's no way to kill this guy.
Nope. And In theory, because we saw the Jacknaw have nightmares about Little Cal and become Lord Inglis, could he just, like, spread to everyone, creating constant Little Cals and possessing everyone?
He could. But the problem is we don't know what he's after.
Yeah.
They've never...
What's his motive?
Everything has been said about Lord English now except his motive. There's a few odds and ends here, like where does eyes come from, where does coat came from. But the one last fact about Lord English is his motive. He says, I'm gonna kill my sister. But it's something more than that. Whatever he's after.
If he wanted to kill his sister, and he specifically says he's just an idea, he could have haunted her years ago and caused her to create a Little Cal.
He's completely invincible in every way, and he already has the most powerful artifacts in existence.
So what's his plan?
What's he after?
Is it something more meta than we think? Is he after webcomics?
Lord English, the buff Lord English, led John to the retcon. So that's what his motive at the time. Now that's fulfilled. He has ensured that he will be creative and that the loop is stable. It's closed.
He currently has 2 bodies right now. There are 2 Lord Inglis's, and there can be an infinite number more. What does he do with his powers exactly? What does he want?
There's 3 Lord Englishes.
There's Jack Lord Inglis, Skeleton Lord Inglis, and what's the third one?
Little Cal.
Little Cal, that's right. 3 Lord Inglis's.
But technically, the most recent Little Cal turned into Jack. But there's still a few floating around out there because it's one going through weird time shenanigans. It will eventually end up becoming Jack. In which case, it's weird. I don't know. Buff Lord English is still different from Jack Lord English.
How so? They're both... Well,
it splits when the alchemy happens.
Oh, okay.
For the canon timeline, anyway.
Now, the timeline we're viewing, is it the Vriska back timeline or not?
You don't know. There's a small little detail in the update. Small little detail that says that Dirk doesn't recognize Arqueus.
Yeah.
Which leads us to believe this is the post-Vriska Alive one. And that means the Alpha Kids have new sprites. Because Vriska Tavros never happened, because Vriska's alive. And Gamzee wasn't really running around as much, so he may not have had a chance to sprite the others.
So what sprites do they have?
We don't know.
What about your theory? You've had it for the longest time.
I've said for years, like since I started reading this comic, that in some crazy shenanigans time travel down the line, because we hardly knew of retconning then. There's only the one instance.
Yeah.
Hussey will find a way to get the Alpha Kids new sprites, and I don't care how he does it, he's gonna find some crazy way to do it. And he finally did now. And then they're gonna create Solix Sprite. With a 2 for the S, because it's the 2 Solixes together into one sprite.
And also his Lisp.
Yeah.
He canonly talks with.
He canonly talks with 2 for an S's.
So 2 Solix sprites.
Yeah.
And what would the other sprites be, though?
I don't know. But if the goal of the comic is still beat Suburb, then I think 2 Solixes combined and all the knowledge of a sprite, that's enough to beat Suburb. I think he could figure out how.
I think Solix in general, if Solix got to do like Assassin without Eridan haggling him or any of that.
Gamzee went out of his way to put Eridan in there so that Solix wasn't too powerful.
Yeah, if you have Solix and Assassin, he can beat the whole thing with for you.
Eridan was the Wheatley to the GLaDOS. He was just there to make Solix dumber.
Yep. He was a professionally created moron just to make him dumber. If 2 more.
If it was just a Solix sprite, Alpha Kids would have beat their session. It's a void session. Solix would have found a way.
Yeah. But what? Hussey can do anything he wants for these other sprites. What do you think he would do? Are we finally gonna get Sweet Bro and Hell Jeff sprite?
That's what I was saying. It's been too long. We still haven't gotten Sweet Bro sprite. That has to happen.
We gotta have a Sweet Bro sprite. We gotta.
After Smuppet Cal, we need Sweet Bro.
So we gotta have Sweet Bro sprite. We gotta have 2 Solix sprites. Who are we gonna get instead of Tablet sprite?
I don't know. What's James?
Well, what? Who's left a sprite?
I'm assuming Pop-Pop.
Pop-Pop.
Because then it's the mirror of Nana.
Yeah, okay. But what use does having
or even little Seb
but
as a mirror to Arqueus?
But what does that do for the story, putting that character in there?
They just need to exist. The Solix will be all that matters.
Okay. Because once again, even like Sweet Bro Sprite is a throwaway character.
Yeah.
They just need to exist.
Unless Hussey's got set up his sleeve with some really good sprite combinations I'm missing out on here. I'm guessing Solid Sprite, and I don't know. I can't think of any other useful ones at the time.
What if Carcat got sprited?
You can only sprite something that's dead, so he'd have to die. And Carcat's got a reputation for not dying.
There's no canon timeline where he dies.
There's no canon timeline where... There's no...
He has to be the last troll to die, is what it always seems.
Yeah. Even the one where Gamzee went crazy in Alternia, him and Terezi were the last ones to die, and then the timeline ended.
Yeah. So, Carcat has
Killing Carcat is always a really bad thing to do.
That's like when your assassin is hit the end. That's
if Carcat's dead, alright, we messed up, back to square one. Where did we go wrong?
And Terezi's not dead in this timeline, is she? Terezi's not dead.
She's still blind, even.
Yeah, she's still blind. She's fine.
She's blind. That means she'll be able to... And Gamzee won't be there to harm her. So even if she does fight Arania or Condis again, she'll be able to win this time.
So if John's plan was to zap all the kids now that they're powerful enough to go beat up Caliban before he comes Lord Inglis, of course he didn't know at the time what Caliban had behind his back, why didn't they bring Kanaya, Carcat, or Vriska with them, or Terezi? They could all help very much in the feasting of Caliban.
Because...
Vriska especially.
The logical reason is that they took the most powerful. And that... Vriska, especially, is probably off doing something else equally important. I think that they sent those three to go get the chest.
Oh, okay.
But from a narrative point of view, 8 is a really special number.
Yeah.
And having the 4 kids, 4 beta, 4 alpha, 8 kids, is a really magical thing to happen for the final battle.
Okay.
This is what it was supposed to be, until Caliban pulled his juju out and beat them all.
Because I'm like, this is a big battle. Where are the trolls? They held this story up, man. For characters that started off just bullying the kids and being set up as villains, the trolls need to have their payoff by working with them.
Plus, Caliborn's story arc is all about angry teens warping in and then beating them up. So it makes sense to be the 8 teenagers who do it.
I would love for Caliban to meet a troll. That would be so perfect. I want it to happen so badly.
BYB says.
I'm glad I kind of was convinced Carcat and Caliban.
Carcat and Caliban are the destined Kismasis, the biggest Kismasis to ever occur in the history of Paradox Space.
Well, I admit BYB was absolutely correct in the creation of Lord Inglis with the whole little Hal thing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, was he right on that. I'm not so sure about that, because he also said...
He wasn't completely right, because he guessed the cue ball. He didn't think they'd all be stuffed into Cal. That was... too weird, but it happened.
But BYP also went on a whole thing with me, ranting about how I wasn't convinced that Carcat Mina was about to become the greatest sip in Homestuck.
Yeah, BYP was so bent on
Carcat Mina.
Carcat Mina.
And then, like, a week later, it was Vriska Mina that happened.
Yep.
You were so close, but it wasn't what happened.
Now it's going to be Vriska Kanaya, and everything's going to go, who knows.
So the problem with Vriska and Kanaya is when you have stuff like that, you get a Vriska with 0 character development, a Rose with 0 character development, a Kanaya with 0 character development. Basically, everybody has no character development. If Rosemary never happened, if Rose never got drunk, if Terezi never got her sight back, the characters had no obstacles to overcome.
Yeah. That's what Hussey says to Caliban at the end of the Trickster arc, is that you can't give Mario the superstar or he won't learn how to beat the level.
Yeah.
They have to learn how to do it.
He makes a specific point about that.
Yeah. And that's right when Hussey decides to go back and act and is ruining the act structure. So retconning and not overcoming obstacles by cheating are something already tied together. So it makes sense in this area too.
Yeah, but...
It's not even mentioned in the Trickster arc, but it's worth mentioning that Hussey goes on this long metaphorical rant about Mario getting the Power Star and cheating a level. What happens when Mario gets a Power Star?
He flashes bright rainbow colors.
He flashes bright rainbow colors and becomes invincible.
It's Lord Inglis.
Yeah.
Mario becomes Lord Inglis.
Plus, the Mario theme was in the new Flash.
Yeah, he puts the Mario theme in the new Flash.
It's a classic comedic theme, but it's also the Mario theme, and Mario's already been mentioned in Caliborn's story arc.
Come on, Mario, Luigi, red, green cherubs.
It's a conspiracy.
Calliope is Luigi.
It makes so much sense now.
I can't wait to play Calliope's Mansion, the new puzzle point-and-click game. This is going to be great. Calliope sucking in ghosts with Ghostbuster straps. You know, is John being sucked into Lord Inglis's trap after becoming a ghostly trickster the ultimate Ghostbusters payoff? Because I think it is.
No, but Dirk sucking Caliborn in and Arqueus looking in the trap was.
Oh, okay, he looked at the trap. He looked at the trap
Arqueus looked into the trap and got sucked in too.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts on this?
He's still just as
No,
lost.
I have no idea what you're talking
You're
about.
so lost,
I
aren't
told
you?
you I would have not much to add to this. So keep going, and then at the end we'll do some housekeeping stuff. But go ahead.
Okay, so we cried over clay figures.
Yes.
That was basically the
so many
masterpiece
clay figures.
summed up.
We were obsessed over this red marble that appears in half a frame.
Yep. And the clay figure scenes, or like Caliborn pummeling the clay, smashing the clay, and then the beta kids, he actually stretches the Play-Doh and mixes them all up and fuses them together. I can't help but wonder, what on earth does this look like in panel form? This looks like the most messed up thing I've ever seen. I think Hussey just did this to censor what might be the most violent part of the entire comic, just because of how...
I just like to imagine that every member of What Pumpkin now has a different character on their desk.
Yeah, they look... Did he bake them? To keep them?
They were shiny, so yes.
Okay.
When Caliborn bows, there are 3 clay figures of him bowing, halfway bowing, all the way down bowing.
So he did bake some of
If
them.
you looked at every one, I'd say there's about 10 Caliborns.
Wow.
Some of them with holes for wires.
Yeah, I bet they're all... Are they all on the Hive Swap desks, or did he give them all to, like, Ryan North? I wonder where they
He's
are.
like, well, I got my Christmas gifts for this year. You all get a little piece of the comic. Here you go.
I just can't believe that Hussey spent the whole hiatus posing little clay figures and taking pictures.
He said this was done before the hiatus started.
So this is what he's doing, the Gigapods.
He did this during the 2 months of backlog.
That's why.
When we were on horse updates on the calendar. This is what he was doing.
Oh my god. I'm just so happy that the comic got so boring lately. Oh my god, the past updates of the backlogged ones were not very good. They were very anticlimactic, but this is thrilling, man. This is compelling. This is so fascinating. Like, the plot is moving so rapidly, and the story has gotten really emotional
We're
once
about to
again.
head into a 400-plus page act, so it's going to slow down again.
Well, no, because remember what BYB said? Okay, I used to not go against BYB, but I'm starting to lean towards BYB
Oh,
here.
no.
With his recent theory he posted.
Oh, no.
No, it's
Which
not.
one?
The tap.
The Jujus?
The
with
Jujus,
souls?
the souls.
That one it's believable. His new thing he's obsessing on his blog, if you haven't kept up with it. Most Redditors and MSPA forum guys don't. But he's saying that a lot of the Jujus in the comic are... Because magic's not real in Homestuck. Magic's not real. So the reason Jujus have magic powers is because they actually have the souls of God tier stuck inside them. And that's how they get powers. Not through magic, but through class spect.
And he's saying that, like, the cue ball is actually Rose Lalonde trapped inside, the quill ball is Dork, and that he trapped all the kids in different Jujus and sent them back in time. Now, weren't the Jujus sipped in, like, a big box in the flour back in time, or was it just some of the weapons?
Flower? No, that was just the weapons for Little Seb.
Okay.
Not Little Seb, Liv Tyler.
Now, my only thing is that, what I don't get, if Caliborn's plan to get rid of the rest of the kids is to stick them in Jujus and send them back, because that's how you get rid of the rest of them, because he said he was only able to trap the biggest 4 of the threats.
Yeah, 4 of them in one Juju.
4 of them in one, how's he getting rid of the rest? This is his solution.
Yeah.
Well, how is he going to trap Rose and, let's say, a cue ball of Rose is already in the other Juju?
There's so many characters running around. Even if he could just use anyone from a random timeline, or there's
Casey.
Now there's multiple cannons to draw from.
Yeah,
And when Lord English now has void powers, he can even just make up his own Rose.
he could just go, I'm gonna draw another Rose.
Yeah.
Rose sprite, copy, paste, done, another Rose.
With the
You go
Ring
in
of
there.
Void, he now has all of Roxy's powers, which is create something from nothing.
And considering he's an artist who draws, it very well fits that he can create anything he wants now.
But those powers still have undiscovered limits, because this is Homestuck. You can't create something from nothing. It has to come from somewhere.
Like, I remember the apple juice thing? Mm-hmm. Dave says you can't make apple juice because you can't make apples.
Yeah.
Suburb can't create apples.
Apples are a basic object.
So Suburb cannot recreate them.
No.
So, what if it's Casey? I'm telling you. What if it's Casey in the orb?
BYB was going on about how Casey's, what do you call it? Horn that can summon the undead.
Yeah.
That's a Radia. And her time powers are what gives Casey infinite youth. And Aradia's communion with the dead psychic powers is why it can raise the dead.
And you know, I used to not believe any of BYB's theories, because I don't like a lot of his older theories, okay? But he's really convinced me with this update, because he was mostly right on the Lord English thing, and he was really right, because the day before he said the next panel's going to be all these horses jumping into
He
this.
said the next update's going to be Jake gets up, uses his powers. Horses come in. Dirk tries to get little Caliborn's soul, but little Seb intervenes and throws little Cal in. Caliborn's soul is trapped in little Cal. Which is exactly what happened, except he didn't account for Aarqueus, which no one could have.
Yeah,
Especially since it's a different canon Aarqueus, messing with things.
Yeah, nobody even knew who Aarqueus was. Because he's from a different canon.
It was going around,
How did he get there? Wait a second.
Some people have been talking about that. The most likely thing is he's been possessing little Seb all this time.
Oh, okay.
Little Seb randomly went from being a normal bunny with the glasses and everything to having red glasses and having one ear broken off to mirror Aarqueus. And we've seen from Iradiabot that sprites can take over robots.
Okay. Now, what I don't understand is, he's done something that hasn't been present in the comic in a very, very, very long time.
A Sweep Row reference?
Well, first off, we have that. The Super reference, we have both been waiting so long for.
I've been waiting since I started reading the comic for Caliborn to say get ripped and turn to learn English. You finally did it.
But there's something that makes the comic really tough on the old feels, you know? What really creates the feels. And that would be danger and threat. The kids have never been in danger in the comic in years because there was no Homestuck threats. They're gods. They became gods in Act 5. There has been no threat.
Game Over wasn't worth crying over because they'll be back by the end of the next
I didn't cry during Game Over because...
by the end of the next
yeah,
act.
but by trapping the kids in the house...
Or pre-Gigapause when Jane stabbed Jake.
I didn't...
And I'm like...
Yeah.
Wait for it, and he's back. 2 pages.
And
wow, that's stunning.
Yeah,
2 pages.
2 pages. That's what really let the comic down a lot in the past, in the last while, because there's no danger. It's these kids are gonna be learning this. Of course they are. Why not? They're all powerful.
But now
there's danger.
Yeah, because now Lord English has found a way to not be in danger, and he's found a way to actually harm kids so that he can insta-kill them, he can trap them in jujus, he can out-retcon their retcons. He has no weakness right now.
And
except Khaled Scratch and the Juju, which are his weakness, but have never been explained how to actually use them.
What does Hussey have planned? Like, I don't know. I mean, I just imagine Hussey going, well, I just wrote off my 4 main characters. Where do I go? And it's been foreshadowed a lot, though. Like, the Sublime album cover is the house, and all the kids are laying down crying on it. I never understood that album cover.
Yeah.
But now I do. And it's got this big song, its finale song is Rapture.
Yeah, Rapture.
Which
Hussey's been saying Rapture Day is coming. We're still waiting on that.
I'm going to have to listen to that album when I get free time, because it's going to be a lot more important. I bet the Final Flash music is remixes of something in there. Most likely Rapture, if anything, because of Rapture Day.
You should just do some big epic Flash that uses Eden from Low Fam.
Even stuff like We Love Fine picking the design contest. They could have chosen any sort they want. They chose the 4 beta kids hanging out of the house. As if
when
it's
you
like...
when you look at Homestuck, and you look at the characters, you look at the logo, that's one of the first images that comes to mind. Is, oh, the kids each get a little section. Let's draw them in that.
Yeah, they're having a little cubicle in the house.
This is pretty much another classic of Hussey going off fan art. Like he did with Caliborn's OC of Lord English.
That he's seen all this fan art of the kids in the little houses. I'm gonna trap them in there.
The whole reason Aarqueus is part of Lord English is from all the Nepida's Lord English jokes.
Yep, the whole fandom joked about how Nepida is Lord English. And Hussey responded with, Aarqueus is Lord English.
But it makes so much sense. He destroys robots, and he's super buff, and he doesn't curse.
Yeah, and you know what? You know what that means? That means Hussey has known Aarqueus was Lord English for a very, very long time.
Yeah. And
he breaks Hussey-bot.
The first time Aarqueus ever shown, he's in the dark and he stands there watching.
And that's Doc Scratch.
And that's Doc Scratch. Like, that is since the first time he ever showed up.
Aarqueus breaking the robot, missing an eye, is a exact panel we do of Lord English killing Hussey-bot.
And when you look at Act 5, Act 2, and look at the God tier clock that has the giant snakes on it and wings, cherub wings, you really think, how long did he have this planned out?
Well, what really gets me is some of the ominous Act 5 panels. Well, the reference is on directly side. It's within the panel. If you look at it, you go, oh my god, this is amazing. And that would be the Aarqueus Dave chat. Within the text itself, we get to see Dave trolling another troll. See, the thing is, Dave trolls the trolls. He frightens them all. The trolls won from him. This is back when the trolls were the evil internet trolls. Because in Act 5, Act 2, they just got on the computers and they're force trolling the kids. Aqueous is the only troll that Dave is scared of.
Yeah.
Because he's little Cal in a way.
Yeah.
He's Dave's worst nightmare. And what really gets me is that when he's doing that, he is not only using his glasses as a computer, but the background of the panel is AR.
It's bright red lines everywhere, and
Computer
Dave's
scratchy,
glasses are lighting up red. And you know what he's doing while talking about Aqueous here?
He's getting Callid Scratch.
He's pulling Callid Scratch out of the thing.
So Aqueous, aka Little Cal, sort of, is fighting him as he pulls out the only weapon to defeat Lord English, as he is literally, the background is Little Hal. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
The background is drawn as Little
It's all
Hal.
black with red lines everywhere and stuff. It's just, how did he do that?
It's very, very ominous, and it just makes me wonder, Hussey's foreshadowing has gotten so good.
If Lord English has some brobot in him, does that mean he's gonna bleat like a goat?
Maybe. Maybe.
we still need an ultimate payoff for that. The brobot scene wasn't enough.
I think what really gets me with this update is we have a lot of things we haven't gotten for a while, and that is tension, suspense, danger.
My comic has the real stuff. Tension, suspense, danger.
And Hussey foreshadowing stuff that he really knew he was doing back then. This is not one of those things where he said, you know, yeah, that was a reference. I totally planned that out, and he didn't really plan that out.
There's a difference between retroactive foreshadowing and foreshadowing. And no matter how much Hussey said it was a reader-based thing, he just sort of went with Homestuck. There had to have been an outline before he even started the Homestuck beta that said 7 acts, kids, trolls, cherub, suburb, logo, retcon. Just those words.
Yeah.
He had to have had at least that to be able to do this.
I mean, come on, to name the title Homestuck?
Yeah.
Because now we know what the title means, and it's the most literal title ever.
I'd say a huge chunk of the con, 80% of it, is just Hussey on a whim, putting things together slowly over 6 years and getting it to work like
But he had to have an outline.
He had to have had some kind of outline when he began.
And he has all those sketches he showed us of the first 4 beta kids, but
Back when they had square heads like Problem Sleuth.
we've never seen that drawing.
Even while writing in the middle of Problem Sleuth, he must have had cherubs already fully planned out. We'll see, there's no way he could have done this.
Because of even Problem Sleuth is full of foreshadowing. My God, it's got the Dave glasses. It's got the Kanaya chainsaw.
Those are going to be important, and they still haven't been.
Yeah, according to him, you have to read Problem Sleuth to understand Homestuck.
But it hasn't happened yet.
I am waiting for the moment that Death shows up from Problem Sleuth. I know,
Calliope.
I know, and that probably is Doom Calliope, because Doom Calliope looks like Death from Problem Sleuth. But I will not be happy till either Doomed Calliope or actual Death from Problem Sleuth.
He's on the cover of the Till Death book, which creates Lord English by sending out a thing to the server.
No. He needs to play board games with someone. There needs to be a board game
chess
played.
And ate it.
Okay. You're right.
Death and Problems with rides around in a giant horse chess piece.
Yes, that is true.
Caliborn eats the giant horse chess piece.
But I still think the actual Death character from Problem Sleuth is important to the story. Because he is the overruler of the Carapacian afterlife, which is something that is important in Problem Sleuth, but not Homestuck.
We still need Calliope and Caliborn to swap places at some point because of the hats and the chess pieces and Calmasis' story.
I'm still convinced that Calliope's gonna snap at one point. He's gonna go full on angry Wonka style. You get nothing. Good day, sir. Calliope's got some weird Wonka theme going that has never directly been said, but nodded to a lot. And for some reason, just like the phrase "the big man," imagination has become a very powerful Homestuck tool. It's one of those things you can't just toss out there and use in a sentence.
Yeah, gives hope powers.
Carcat sent at the end of Act 5, Act 2, a creature turns pure imagination to pure void. Now, he
can do that now.
He can do that.
Powers. That was finally solved.
He really does turn imagination into pure void.
Ominous sounding threat. No, Lord English really can turn imagination to pure void by nightmare powers.
Which means Carcat knew everything.
Now, how did Carcat know that?
Well,
we just know that now.
Well, Carcat does know that, and I think I finally understand how. I've talked for a while about. I've talked on the podcast about.
A whole episode on that. You talked for so long
about Carcat I want to link the fact that Cockcat had a dream in Cockcat Wake Up that he won't talk about to that sentence, and I finally found the link. Lord Inglis says that he is a nightmare. He can harm anyone he wants. Mm-hmm. All we know from Cockcat Wake Up is that when he sees Jack, he knocks him out, and he says he had a nightmare so horrible and terrible he never wants to talk about it.
I'm saying that Gamzee is a character who at any point can chuckle a voodoo another character into creating a new Lord English. He can do that anytime he wants,
yeah.
Gamzee. I don't think being his pale bro is the best thing to be.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking when Beck knocked Cockcat out, Cockcat didn't have a scary dream about Spade Slick betraying him. Mm-hmm. Because when he woke up, he says that he knew it wasn't Spade Slick, and that doesn't matter. He mentions, here's what he mentions, having a nightmare about the demon, and being so awful he doesn't want to talk about it, and then suddenly when talking to Jade, going on about how he knows of a creature that turns imagination into pure void. I think Gamzee chuckle voodooed Cockcat so horribly behind our backs. He has messed Cockcat up, man.
When will they say chuckle voodoo in canon?
Probably Cockcat. This
Caliborn came so close. So close.
This is my new theory now. I was always convinced that when Cockcat touched the door, the game told him all about Lord Inglis and Sabor because he won. But no. I have a new theory.
Gamzee, yeah.
I think it's Gamzee. When he got knocked out, Gamzee saw it as the perfect chance to give him the worst chuckle voodoo up his sleeve.
Carcat's lime blood will pay off for the end of the comic. It won't be explained until Hive Swap, but Carcat's story will.
And the fact that he has lime powers that can calm people down.
Yeah.
I was hoping that he would calm down Grimbalk Jade, because it was in Lime text, Jade's text specifically. It's even written in Jade's writing.
Carcats may actually somehow tie into the King-Queen hat switching, because he is a Lime Blood who got stuck with Red Blood.
Yeah.
He's a Calliope who is actually Caliborn underneath.
Why is Cockcat related so much to cherubs?
We don't know.
Is he involved with the Creason?
The overall popular theory is that Carcat and insert every Furious has a different thing here will make the first cherub.
See, I thought it was the Woxy Matriel, but obviously the Woxy Matriel obviously messed up with the green spears to it.
Every Furious can tell you some other item that'll be mixed with Carcat to make a cherub. Everyone's got something different.
What do you think?
Wait, the BYB's was Jade and Little Cal with Carcat. But we know Little Cal's got much more than that, and it would not be wise to get him mixed up in there. It wouldn't create a cherub, it'd create this horrible monster. So it's gotta be Carcat and just insert any two random objects here. There's no way of telling.
Who knows? But Cockcat will go to the alchemy rooms at some point to make the cherub waste, right?
Yeah. We also need to see Lord English's coat made, his peg leg, his tooth.
All last we saw of the coat is that for no reason, Kolos, who works with Gamzee and knows everything about chuckle voodoos, decided to pick up Whiskers' pirate coat and walk along.
And Kurlos made Gamzee's outfit for him. So Kurlos can make outfits.
So what is he going to do with this long Visco robe that is literally Lord Inglis's robe in navy blue?
The whole reason that Kurlos has his mouth sewn shut is to show you that he can use that use a sewing needle. Because he can make outfits.
He's going to make Lord Inglis's outfit.
Yeah, with Vriska's blue coat that he took.
Yeah.
But we don't know where the Technicolor comes from.
Yeah, it's not just a coat, it's a Technicolor coat.
It's alchemized with something.
Glows rainbow and fits its colors.
Yeah, in the Masterpiece, Caliborn calls himself a Technicolor boy.
With Technicolor boy with clockwork what? Magic?
Something like that.
Something, yeah. But how many characters have been chuckle voodooed behind our back now that Gamzee has done this?
It's completely unknown. Chuckle voodoo is such a taboo subject, it's not even mentioned in canon.
I think Cockcat got the worst of it behind our back. That's the one we don't know the most.
Yeah.
I know he's hinted at Terezi being chuckle voodooed a lot.
But not with a physical doll-formed kind of chuckle voodoo. Just a rage powers mess with your mind sort of thing.
Yeah.
It may not be chuckle voodoo. It may be god tier power.
So, if chuckle voodoo creates a doll, it makes me wonder, are Squiddles Jade's chuckle voodoo?
No.
What was with that horrible dream Jade had? Was he saw all the horror tales?
There's a precise line between doll chuckle voodoo and mind-altering chuckle voodoo. Because it looks like mind-altering is a rage thing and dolls are chuckle voodoo, but Grand Highblood could do the mind-altering thing, and not the dolls.
So, the horrible dream we actually saw from Jade's point of view, that Cockcat says to Jade, hey, let's never sleep again because of that horrible dream we both had, hints that Cockcat had a very similar dream.
Something similar to Pfeffery.
Except far worse. But was that a Chuckle Voodoo or not? Was there a Chuckle Voodoo influence going on there?
No, that was just the first ever dream bubble, so it was really unbalanced.
Okay.
As more characters entered, it sort of molded into a world. But that's what it was for just first starting, and the horror terrors were like having a chat with Jade.
Okay. So did Carcat get like the most unstable form of a dream bubble, or was it entirely Chuckle Voodooed? Maybe a mix of both?
We don't know. There's no telling.
There's no telling?
Remember, John also has a doll Chuckle Voodoo. That's not Lord English.
He has the
And
Holy
this
Quinn.
even messes up any other theories. There's no way to pin down a precise how Chuckle Voodoos work, because they work differently every time. John had a Jack doll in his room. And that wasn't a juju either, because you know how that was destroyed? WV picked it up and ripped it in half.
That's it.
And remember, WV can't even open the can off a can of beans. His fingers, he's so weak.
That was just a simple
But
battle.
he can take the Chuckle Voodoo and just go, rip. Oh, look at that.
That was just a simple Gamzee influenced John's mind so badly with Harley Quinns and terrified him so much that it created a physical doll. Now, this
But it
wasn't at all...
didn't do that with Terezi.
Or Carcat, or Jade, or anything.
It's only done that with Dave, John, and Dirk.
Yeah, and if Carcat really did get Chuckle Voodooed with all the evidence pointing, he should have woken up with some doll at his side of some sort.
Carcat woke up and he was in the middle of Prospect, living down the streets. We don't know how he got there.
Oh yeah, he was just kind of in the slums of Prospect.
He finally wakes up on Prospect and he's like laying on the floor and he wakes up, sees Jack, and then dies again.
Did he sleepwalk? Like Roxy?
No.
As he had the Chuckle Voodoo?
Don't even start with Roxy Sleepwalk. We don't know what's going on.
I still don't understand. Was he actually having a dream bubble when Beck killed him? Or was he just going insane around Prospect because Gamzee was influencing him with such bad things that Carcat couldn't even see reality anymore?
We don't know. With Jade visiting John while he slept, it's possible Terezi hant with Carcat while he was asleep, and maybe he took him on little tours around Prospect, and when Jack showed up, she dropped him or something. We don't know. It could be anything. But all we know is he was laying in the middle of the street.
After having a horrible dream.
Yeah, it was the first time ever waking up on Prospect for him.
After reading through Act 5, Act 2, there was a lot of emphasis on that Carcat dream. He goes on and on about that, ranting about that dream. And I'm just like, when are we going to see it or get any information on this? I am dying to know what happened now. Because Carcat's entire angst from Carcat Wake Up is that he can't get any more sleep anymore because of what he saw, and he's never going to go to sleep again. It's the whole reason they're trolling the kids, to keep the trolls awake so they don't go through what he had to go through. He specifically says, no sleeping ever again to all the trolls.
Well, you can sleep. There's an Easter egg in it. There's an Easter egg in Carcat Wake Up where you can find Eridan's wand pile and click sleep, and it says game over and the comic ends.
And that's the end of reality. And that might be the scariest, most ominous thing. And it's just like, oh my god, what on earth is Carcat talking about now?
He was right. If anyone on the meteor had fallen asleep, Doom timeline, all of reality ends, comics over.
But Doom timelines don't work like that, though.
No, it requires time travel to mess
It requires
with
time travel.
But yeah, remember Jack wasn't supposed to be in the Troll universe in the first place. He's already messing things up.
So what could possibly happen that Carcat says, if you go to sleep, you're never going to wake up, so don't go to sleep?
Well, Freddy Krueger, Caliborn's new powers. Here we are 4,000 pages later, finally getting the other half of the reference.
So we just supposed to suppose that if any of the trolls went to sleep, Caliborn would have done his work to them?
And they would have spawned another Lord English, probably.
He would have, like, let's say Nepeta decides to take a little nap. Lord English sneaks right into Nepeta.
Nepeta's Lord English, done.
There you go. Lord English possesses Nepeta. Nepeta goes crazy and murders everyone.
Yeah.
After being possessed by Lord English.
I think Gamzee fell asleep right then. I think that's about the time he lost it.
So, what would have... And Carcat Wake Up is the name of the Flash. That's a big deal that Carcat's waking up. There's a lot of emphasis that he's waking up.
Yeah, it's the name
because
of the Flash.
If he didn't wake up, Lord English would have took control of him. And he would have been a Lord English Carcat that would have killed everybody. Why did he wake up? What caused him to wake up? I can't remember.
The shock of seeing Spade Slick kill him.
That's why.
He didn't know yet that Beck and Jack were different people.
That's why. The only thing that stopped him from thinking of whatever Lord English had put into his mind was seeing his most loyal fatherly figure try and kill him.
Carcat, as a Knight of Blood, is really obsessed with honor bounds, blood brothers and stuff.
Blood brothers, that too, because he's a blood player.
Yeah, so that really affected him.
Yeah.
Or Gamzee could have stepped in the horn pile again.
Yeah. I think it's more of
no one likes it when Gamzee steps in the horn pile.
betrayal of a blood bond or friendship to Cockhat will knock him right out of that trance that Ellie has put him into.
It's either Terezi or Vriska that says to Gamzee in that flash he plays them and talk to Gamzee that they might go for a nap in the horn pile later, and Gamzee's like, no, don't do that, I hate that noise.
Gamzee doesn't like the honking noise.
No. If someone steps in his hog pile, he gets freaked out.
Wow.
Hogs make him nervous.
So, I'm just, oh my goodness, is it possible the Alpha Kids were Chuckle Voodooed? Now, because I can immediately tell the Chuckle Voodoo influence on every panel now, because now it's not only a matter of Gamzee can Chuckle Voodoo, it's a matter of Lord English is a being that can Chuckle Voodoo anyone or any time in reality.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, I think he definitely went for Cockhat specifically. I think he went for a lot of quick little routes to kids. Tiny influence.
Tiny things. The only problem with that is that the Alpha Kids woke up so early. Roxy had her sleepwalking, which negates everything, because she has special dream bubble powers. Jane woke up pretty early on, and then died, and then came right back, so she was cleansed. Jake was already dead to begin with when Club's Deuce poisoned him. And Dirk's always been awake. Dirk was never asleep.
Yeah. What about the Bephoes trolls? Could Ingles have had any influence on them, or Matuna possibly?
It's mentioned that he had every influence on them.
Because of Kolos, right?
The Bephoes is really hard because there's only implied dialogue to figure out what happened. All we know is the fact that Lord English exists is what glitched their session somehow because they didn't have ecto equipment. And something happened where Kurlos and Matuna were alone. And it ended with Matuna losing his mind. And something happened to Kurlos that gave him nightmares. Enough to the point that later he had such a terrible nightmare that he screamed loud enough to make Mulin deaf.
So Kolos here was being Chuckle Voodooed by Lord Inglis.
But later it shows that Kurlos is willingly working for Gamzee. So we don't know what's going on.
Maybe Lord Inglis Chuckle Voodooed him to the point where he's just like, I'm gonna work for this guy now. I'm done with the nightmares, I'll just work for him.
Kurlos has a lot to do with strings, so it makes sense if he's a puppet.
Yeah, he's just been Chuckle Voodooed to the point now where he's become one of Ellie's puppets. And,
So, if the Bephoes trolls are important still, then yes, Kurlos was Chuckle Voodooed.
I thought it mentioned that Matuna got his brain damaged because he overexerted his power.
That's the assumption because psionic.
But that's just the assumption.
Because and Solix. Solix blew his brains out trying to move the meteor. Psionic blew himself out trying to move Condis' ship. Matuna blew himself out doing unknown thing. It was probably moving a large object through space.
Okay,
that's
so
what happens.
It wasn't just Chuckle Voodoo's driving him insane too.
But it was Kurlos that forced him to do it.
So he probably Chuckle Voodooed him into doing something?
All we know is Kurlos and Matuna were alone at the time. It makes the reader instantly think, oh, Kurlos did something horrible to this poor little kid. But it could also happen that Matuna did something so insane that it drove Kurlos insane.
Yeah, it could be the other way around.
It could be either.
You know, this Chuckle Voodoo influence makes Whiska's mind power seem like nothing now.
She can put people to sleep.
But, like, I remember, even when Oania was controlling Gamzee in the later act, I was like, oh my god, the Sockets have power. Have they been controlling people in the past?
I think we should all be very, very glad that he took Equius into Lord English and not Vriska. Because can you imagine if Lord English, instead of being buff, had the power to put people to sleep?
Oh my god. We're saved.
If he could put people to sleep and then give them nightmares and then become real, he'd be unstoppable. Luckily, they have to go to sleep on their own.
Yeah. Which is why Cockhat specifically says, never go to sleep, you won't wake up if you do so.
Vriska has a long history of putting people to sleep so things will happen just because.
Yeah. Now, there was one thing I don't get. There was a character who was outright mentioned though being controlled, but not through Chuckle Voodoo, through Vriska mind control, but we don't know which Sock it is. And the Neverending Story Dragon.
Yeah.
The Luck Dragon.
When Hussey's riding Falcor, he's got the little Urania thing on his forehead.
Oh my goodness, it just now occurred to me. Why haven't I considered this? Falcor. Falcor is the fourth Lord Inglis.
Maybe. Well, we don't know how Falcor exists.
Falcor has
he's in one author self-insert in a dream bubble.
But he has the eyes. He has the billiard ball eyes. You don't just have those.
I don't know.
I think no.
Well, the thing important in that scene is when Hussey's yelling at his little Cal doll, "Hey, you're supposed to put on the felt duds and switch out your eyes for the cue ball eyes."
Yeah.
That foreshadows everything that just happened.
And so it's obvious that when someone becomes Paul Lord Inglis, they get the cue ball eyes, the leg lost or something.
Yeah. It's supposed to be an arm and an eye, but that doesn't happen as often as you think.
So why does Falcor from Neverending Story follow the Lord Inglis thing? Why does he look like Lord Inglis? He couldn't just do the dragon.
Because Arwen is the Caliborn's thing.
Yeah.
The remember Trickster is still a thing on top of all this, somehow.
I don't even know how that links into this.
That has to get a payoff, too.
Well, we gotta see Trickster Trolls.
And so do Zillywave and Sahu.
Oh god, I forgot about them, too.
The narrator specifically said, "You will be so glad you made these in the future."
Maybe they are what can save the beta kids. The only hope.
Well, remember that Square Wave, no, the other one, what's the other one? Square Wave and who? I get them so mixed up. Sahu or whatever. He's never been beaten in a rap battle by Dirk. And now that Lord English is made up of every rapper in Homestuck combined to one thing, they need an unbeatable rapper.
Yeah, because we got Gamzee, we got Equius, and we got Duck, all in one.
Yeah.
All the rappers, except Tavlos. He doesn't deserve it. He does not deserve it. So, what could save the beta kids at this point?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Just create another duplicate timeline with retcons.
But that's still, you can't create another duplicate timeline because the main John is trapped in there.
But he isn't yet.
Oh. Okay.
Plus, there's another John. John talked to Terezi. Terezi said, "Go here and come back." John went there and came back to John and Terezi talking. John pushed the other John out of the way and said, "Okay, Terezi, let's move on to step 2. And he said, "Oh, you did it? Oh, I guess my plan worked then. Bye, other John. You don't have to do it. The timeline's stable. You can go."
Where does he go?
John that just goes off.
What is he gonna do?
We don't know.
I don't understand. What is he gonna go like watch Con Air or something? That's it.
And if you can create retcon loops that create new retcon splinters, you can have as much Johns as you want running around. You might have much anything running around.
The mayor? Queen of 1,000 mayors?
John could say, "Hold on, I'm gonna go back one panel." He goes back one panel. He picks up a little pebble, moves it 2 feet over. Okay, I just created another life for every single character in the comic. We're all good to go.
My god, the disposable. I don't know how to feel about this. He's got to save the current kids, though. He can't just have, like, disposable characters like that.
Jade was disposable. The Jade and Jane that are talking to Calliope right now are new disposable splinters.
Yeah. How is he gonna do this? Like, in Act 5, he had this problem, just with Jade and Jade's sprite, and he was just like, you know what? Combine them into one Jade. There we go. Combine them into one Solix. He hasn't done that yet. There's still, like, 10 Solixes running around. But we know they're gonna combine, okay? It's his way of taking 1,000 splinters, Duck, just look at Duck, and saying, they're one character now. It also has a way of getting not only that character back, but all the memories of the stuff they previously experienced get to stay with them. Suddenly, Jade's sprite isn't written off, it's just Jade now has all the memories.
Yeah.
For future reference.
But the Jade sprite met some trolls that are not the beta trolls. We still haven't learned about that.
Hive swap trolls.
They don't go to dream bubbles.
How do you know that? Hussey made the horror tales for the game. We've seen the horror tales in the game from the Force News Post.
Yeah.
What are the horror tales gonna do? Remember what you said earlier? The portal to Alternia. It's probably a window from Problem Sleuth. And
if you cut it off halfway,
then there's a void.
Then you're in the void.
You're in the void, the nothingness.
You're like Roxy's
which
teleporters.
May or may not be where the kids got sucked into. Have they been banished to the void? Or this physical house they're stuck in?
We don't know.
I don't understand.
There was this no, because in the masterpiece there was a distinct difference between when Caliborn did it and when Roxy did it of sending things into the void. They put their ring down and it disappeared, and the kids being sucked into white. Those were two different things.
Okay.
Hussey made it very clear those were different things.
So this house is like a new medium of some sort. We don't know. We have no idea.
It's been John's retcons. This is just the first time it was used.
But I don't understand. we could easily assume that he just threw the kids into it and they formed to create the house. But he specifically says banned and exiled, as if they were thrown somewhere else within space-time.
Well, exiled's a good word for it, because if they are trapped in the juju powering it still, then John sticks his hand in, he gets their powers, and they're helping him. That means the characters were taken, shoved into exile, and now they're in a place where they can assist the main characters, which is what exiles have been doing since Act 2. And WV was an exile that helped the main characters through the house-shaped computer.
If that's the case, then I just want to see Exile John and Exile Dave. I want to see the
They
kids.
won't look any different.
Oh, come on. That'd be such a disappointment, wasted opportunity. We gotta see Exile kids.
He fit in Exile Spade Slick. What more do you want? He was in one panel.
I need a lot more Exiles. Come on, more Exiles. Speaking of Exiles, this is something, to this day, I still say is going to be important. And if it's not, then it's a very good Paradox Space idea, which is gone now. A moment of silence for Paradox Space. It's on indefinite hiatus till Homestuck ends, because Hussey wanted 7 updates a day as a sequel Homestuck comic, but the best...
He couldn't afford one.
Well, he didn't even like the content that was being produced. Nobody did. The problem is, if you're going to make a Homestuck sequel comic...
You have to wait for it to be over.
You have to wait for it to be over. Wait till even said they had all these after-canon ideas sent to Hussey, and he said, nope, in the game. Nope, that's part of the game. Nope, that's part of the game. They can't do anything until Homestuck ends for that comic.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can get a 7-page-a-day sequel thing he has planned. But back on the topic of my thing I had, I'm telling you right now, we canonly know that Aimless Renegade is in the Problem Sleuth Afterlife playing board games of death. And it's going to be important. We're going to cut to them. I know we are.
But he was scratched. And now he's on Durst giving a ticket to the big battleship that crashed into it. If that happened in this timeline.
No, he died. He wasn't scratched. He got killed.
When?
Spade Slick decapitated him with Cascade.
That whole timeline's gone. The Universe A was scratched.
But he was still warped to the afterlife after he died.
Maybe.
Just
we
because...
we don't know how Carapace Afterlife works in the Homestuck canon.
Just because a universe is gone, it's like Alternia or something, doesn't mean all the Fefuis just disappeared out of the dream bubbles.
But they're safe in dream bubbles from the scratch. Dave and Rose proved that.
How do we know the Problem Sleuth Afterlife isn't a place of...
We don't know, for sure. Problem Sleuth, they also had a dream world, remember?
They did, didn't
Yeah.
they?
Whenever you go through a wall, you're in the dream world. And whenever you fall asleep, you also go into that dream world.
Their dream world is what? The same as the after...
It was a city, but it's nighttime while they're in the dream world.
That's why, okay. Doesn't WV go there by getting himself drunk like Problem Sleuth?
No, he eats the uranium and goes inside a little hut he makes, and then has a weird dream bubble sequence where he
do you know what?
Beck Noir
Do you remember what that looked like? It was Jade's house and Jade's land and everything, except it was nighttime. And it was very specifically nighttime with Problem Sleuth drawn moons
But then
and
it
suns.
turns the day, and it's on the battlefield killing everyone.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. I just still think Death from Problem Sleuth is going to be more important, okay? And Aimless Renegade. Let's put Aimless Renegade back. You can't white off characters, especially not Aimless Renegade.
He gets a half mention when Jade and Jane are talking about how cute the little guys are with their clipboards giving tickets to things.
Yeah, but I want Aimless Renegade
His
to
caution tape appeared a while ago when John went to the car that was crashed.
I guess that sort of counts, yeah, but like, we even got to see Club's Deuce again.
He's still with the trickster stuff, if that happened in this timeline.
Oh my god, I just remembered. Club's Deuce is actually somewhere in canon.
He's alive!
I was referring to the retcon, but no, Club's Deuce is alive.
He's alive! Last we saw him, he was with Sahu and Zillywave. They were making fancy Santas together.
Oh my god, what are they doing? What is Club's Deuce doing?
It's funny because everyone was trickster mode having fun, but Club's Deuce, he was just hanging out with them. He was fine non-trickster.
Are you telling me that in Homestuck canon right now, as told by Caliborn, all the beta kids have been banished and trapped, and all the alpha kids have been beat to a bloody pulp, and Aqueous is gone, but Club's Deuce, he's still fine and chilling.
Yeah. Club's kill Club's Deuce. He's too innocent.
Club's Deuce in the mail, right? Innocent. Club's Deuce is the highest body count of the Midnight Crew. Where's the mayor? Where's the mayor right now?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Well, right now, he's on the roof with Vriska.
Oh, okay.
In Caliborn's time, we don't know where he is.
Okay. Someone actually pointed something really interesting in Game Over. If you pause it for, like, literally half a second.
You have to look it up on YouTube.
You
won't notice it in the Flash.
It's way too fast.
Or if you'd have to download the Flash and look at it frame by frame.
There was a very, very, very tiny whipped Mayo sass that goes to fly the screen, confirming that WV died in that timeline.
Yeah.
Poor Mayo, man. Here's what I'm thinking. I was just talking to Luna about this. Another one of my crazy crack carapaces theories, like my Endless Renegade one. If we really do get to see Game Over again, but like a retcon version or a Flash similar, I think we're gonna PM and Beck are still going to kill Dave. I feel like that and Rose being stabbed by a trident is a constant because it's how Rose died in the Alpha timeline.
All Striders die with the sword through their chest.
All Striders die through swords, and all Lalondes die through tridents for some reason. It seems to be a constant.
Except Mom the first time. Mom Lalonde didn't.
Oh yeah.
She was stabbed by a sword.
Okay. Well, I still think that that's going to happen, and it's going to be the mayor that sees it. And instead of Wania flipping out, it's going to be the mayor. Because the mayor's going to watch PM Mortal Dave in front of his eyes.
You know that scene of Rose crying as she watches Kanaya obliterated? I only see it with the mayor crying was watching Dave
because
die.
It's his previous friend from the other timeline, the male lady he knew, murdering his other best friend.
Yeah.
Imagine how conflicted WV would feel. This would be... This has got to happen. Just like the Caliborn whipped panel I waited so long for, I am willing to wait a long time to see this happen.
I'm still waiting for the scene where Solix and Fefre and Nepet are having tea, and Equus is in the maid outfit serving him little biscuits. I've been waiting for that since I started reading the comic.
That can't happen now, because that's technically Lord Inglis serving Nepet.
Well, let's make it funnier.
Are we not going to talk about how every doomed Equus is Lord Inglis now, technically?
He's wearing a maid outfit.
That's Lord Inglis. That guy in the main outfit there, in another universe, he's responsible for the death of millions of people. And by millions, remember all the fan trolls he murdered. And remember the canon scene of him murdering all your favorite characters from Hive Swap. Have fun when playing Hive Swap that Lord Inglis murders them all later.
You guys about talked out for this show?
Last topic then is what's happening at this very moment. Now that updates have ended, we have not heard from Hussey at all.
He went on about a what pumpkin sale.
Yes, he went on about what pumpkin
in which
sale.
they sold out of everything.
2 days ago.
2 days ago they sold out.
On the 10th, which was Saturday, right?
Yes.
He said that Caliborn's masterpiece would go up within 3 days, it'd be 40 pages, and then about a week later, Homestuck will return. Sometime before then, he'll have calendars up when the update schedule is. Well, Caliborn's masterpiece ended 3 days. It was only 39 pages, not 40, 39. And Hussey has not made any news post or anything. Rachel was on her blog, Rachel PXS on Tumblr, saying, get as many Homestucks to follow my blog as possible. I'm going to put up a huge news post by the end of the week explaining everything, a roundup of all the Hive Swap, Paradox Space, Homestuck, and What Pumpkin news, because there's been a lot of misinformation going around. But Hussey has just dropped off the face of the earth again.
Oh, Hussey.
He was going on Twitter about how he's going to dress up as Jake English and IPG's going to beat him to death. And so that may have happened.
You have to specify God tier Jake.
God tier Jake.
Specifically God tier. Yeah. IPG said they were going to bring the yellow underwear to the party. So they can all dress up as Jake.
IPG offered to do a party. Hussey said, sure, we'll make it a Jake RP party. And IPG said, you bring the little yellow underwear, I'll bring the baseball bat and the body bag.
Oh my god.
Hussey may or may not be wearing little tiny yellow underwear in a body bag somewhere. He's
Party
gone now.
Implies that all the webcomic artists are coming over. Ryan North and all of them.
in it mentioned Rachel, Hussey, a few other ones. I had to look at it again.
Yeah, but the thing is, knowing Hussey and his hussiness, how am I supposed to not believe that Hussey is out there with Ryan North and all of them dressed up in Jake God 2 outfits partying? Probably dancing around they're crying over little clay figures. The same clay figures are on my desk right now.
This is the update. He said he did not want to end the hiatus on this. It'd be too much for people to handle, so he saved it for 413. Well, here we are, another no word from Hussey, indefinite hiatus with this is the last thing we've seen.
It didn't go according to plan.
Hopefully it'll only be a week, like he said.
Just imagine if we went 2 months with going on about this.
I'm hoping by Sunday we'll either have an update or word of when we'll get an update.
Knowing how Hussey knows Transformers, here's what I think his logic is. Some people think that Hussey didn't want to end it on this because this isn't what really happened. He doesn't want us making all these theories on a reality that didn't happen.
Gigapause.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a year on a reality that didn't happen.
I know, so he doesn't care about that. What if he's pulling the old Transformers? We all know Hussey is a huge fan of Transformers, along with IPGD.
Oh, no.
When the Transformers movie came out, they figured out something. They wanted to kill Optimus Prime to make the movie hard on the fans' feels. But by killing Optimus Prime, they figured out that any Optimus Prime merchandise sales went down because nobody wanted a dead character. So
Hey, what pumpkin just made $90,000?
$97,000.
$97,000 after a 3-day sale.
Well, yeah, but they must have figured this is it, man. If we end this on a hiatus, nobody's gonna buy those Beta Kid pins. With them written off. We might sell some Clubs Deuce t-shirts because he's apparently
He's the only one still alive.
The only one still alive. Long live Clubs Deuce. Imagine if the whole comic now.
If Mighty Moose's ultimate showdown is true, then Clubs Deuce is the winner of Homestuck.
He gets to open the door of the universe. He gets to be the god.
Yeah.
It's all about Clubs
It's the only way
Deuce.
Homestuck can end with Clubs Deuce rising to power.
I think we're finally
I
finished.
think that's about the big note.
All right. Well, before we wrap up, we just wanted to say thank you to a couple of people. Our Patreon page continues to support the show monetarily, so thank you to everyone who's pledged. Vriska has pledged $35, which means she gets to pick what we're going to watch. So we're going to watch Homestuck Act 2. And we'll have a show about that, my reactions to that. It can't be any worse than Act 1, where nothing happened.
There's more characters, there's more plot, there's more caption log shenanigans.
Oh, it sounds great. So, yes, you can control the show just with a small donation. If you don't have any money, that's great, too. The other way to support the show is to go on iTunes and leave us a review. That being said, we did get a couple of reviews this week. Let's see here. Reviews from Kagome Loves Koga. Right? Does that sound right? Kagome Loves Koga says, been listening to this for the Homestuck. It's amazing. I'm loving Luna, Luke, and his bro. You need to talk more, dude. I don't remember your name, LOL.
What? Me?
Who are you?
I'm Austin.
Yeah. Well, Kagome Loves Koga doesn't know who you are.
What? I can't not keep my mouth running on this, though. You see, the thing is, during the first few episodes,
The first few you didn't talk at all.
I don't think I say anything.
Anyone who wants to know about you has to get like 7 hours in.
I bet at the 7 hour point, they're just like, oh my god, just stop talking already. Let's go back to the older episodes.
So if you leave us a review on iTunes, we will mention your review on the air. Thank you for doing that. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us in our iTunes search results listings, so that's very helpful to us. Thank you to everyone that we met at WonderCon, and Austin, you had a moment of somebody being impressed that you were really the guy from 91 Reasons, right?
Yeah, I had a Steam user named Gamzee McCall add me as a friend, and we talked about Homestuck, and they said how much they love the show. It means a lot to me.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That means that we're broadcasting from a small room in Riverside, California. We're beaming it around the world via iTunes and Stitcher and all the other platforms where you can get it. Thanks to everybody who's following on Reddit and commented about the show. Your feedback means the world to us. It means that somebody is listening. So we're happy to be a lone beacon of hope in the sea of Homestuck hopelessness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
With it coming to a close, right? No.
Oh, no.
He says there's 400 pages, a little more, and then the final animation back.
How much did they make over the weekend?
$97,000.
You think it's going to end? You're cute.
Well, they've got the game, they got the Return of Paradox Space eventually,
Yeah.
and they've got Rapture Day.
Well, need I remind you, and Duhasi said, Paradox Space is planned to be a Homestuck sequel-like comic that has over 7 updates a day. He has big plans for Paradox Space.
We are headed out this weekend to Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim, California. Austin, you are going as a Homestuck Jedi.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear my Star Wars vest and my cockhat horns.
Yeah, and a lightsaber. Luna, any costume thing you'll be wearing?
I think I'm just wearing Star Wars leggings.
Just Star Wars leggings. So look for us there. If you listen to the show, let us know. We'll have Homestuck 91 Reasons business cards to hand out. We handed out quite a bit at WonderCon, so I you know what? It's a total crapshoot whether there will be any Homestuck fans at Celebration because it's such a weird thing. But it might be one of those things where it's like, look, we got nothing else to do. There's a big convention happening. Let's go down and, like they always do, just hang out front.
Tickets. Just
Right.
hang out.
Out of curiosity, I wonder if Wheel of Fine will have any horns in the back in the stock I could buy.
They said they'd have a big booth there.
Well, they're going to be there, right?
Yeah.
Well,
but do they have enough Star Wars for a Star Wars only booth?
No,
Or they
no.
say, just put the other stuff too.
No, they know that stuff sells. Listen, we're going to the celebration thing, and yeah, it's going to be predominantly Star Wars, but there's going to be a large contingent of Doctor Who merchandise and all the other fandoms because...
Have you seen Whimsic Alley lately? It's 90% Sherlock.
If it's...
There's no Harry Potter in there anymore.
Well, wait till Magical Beasts gets
They had
rolling.
Game of Thrones stuff when I went.
Well,
This
sure.
has nothing to do with Harry Potter.
Well, you start out one thing and you branch. If it makes money, you stock it. It's not like you're going to walk up and they're going to go, Homestuck. No. We left those back at the... No, they're going to go, oh, they're right here. We'd love to take your money. Is that what you're going to buy? Homestuck horns?
Probably.
You're not going to buy Tauntaun horns?
Star Wars convention to get Homestuck merch.
You should have Gamorrean Guard horns, Tauntaun horns, Deveronian horns, Greedo horns. You need to Shrek up your life,
Rodian.
man.
You know what the other thing was? We don't know Rodian.
What?
What was one you said before Greedo?
Deveronian?
Yeah, you know that? We don't know Rodian?
Yeah, Greedo. Well, because Greedo's fun to say. And the Deveronian guy probably has a name, but I don't know. He's the devil guy in the kid. I think he's been cut out. I don't know.
I used to hate that action figure when I was so young.
The devil guy?
Because he had this horribly plastic molded cape that went behind him.
Yeah.
Like, why couldn't it just be cloth? Come on, Hasbro. Because it didn't stay on him. And it wasn't just a cape that he had. It was like molded around his arms. So you couldn't pose the figure unless you took the cape off. And the cape doesn't come off. So it was a nightmare.
Well, now you're delving into all sorts of nonsense there. The Homestuck people are like,
Don't
get
Star
back to
Wars
the
figures
Homestuck.
again.
Yeah, don't get on Star Wars figures. Get on Homestuck.
I used to like Star Wars figures until I found Homestuck.
See, we just have to say that we've sucked you in with the Homestuck episodes, and this is going to morph into a Star Wars collecting podcast.
No!
It's a trap.
See, I'm going to need one John Egbert to keep, one to troop build because there's like 1,000 Johns. I'm going to need one to keep out of the box.
How many Daves do you need? A lot of them.
I need to troop build my Dave collection. I was thinking of 3 J's, 2 Roses because the Doom timeline, 10 Johns, and I was thinking, 26 Daves to troop build my army?
You need infinite.
I do need infinite. You're right about that.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week with more Homestuck goodness. Whatever the updates are, whatever goes on sale.
There'll be more updates by then.
Yeah, there'll be updates. There'll be Hive Swap updates. The way we run is that the minute I hit stop on this recorder, something happens in the Homestuck world, and I go, we have to wait.
Post could be up now. I haven't checked in like an hour.
Right, we have to wait a week to put it on the episode. So
I like recording these episodes because it means
something's gonna happen.
something big is gonna happen.
yeah,
Because it always does.
Hussey just likes Thursdays.
that could be.
Valve likes Thursdays.
Yeah. All right. Well, I am the voice of 91 Reasons. I am Jeff Tucker. I am joined, as always, by our resident Homestuck experts,
Austin.
Luna.
and we like to gather around the microphone and hurl the words into the universe, and they're being caught by podcast apps everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. And when you look at your podcast app, because we're a numerical podcast, we come before all the letters if they're alphabetical, right? Oh, was that calculated on my behalf or a happy accident? I don't know.
Now you're Hussey.
Yes, I do know that I'm retconning. I'm retconning. And if I had to do it all over again, I would still call this podcast 91 Reasons.